So doing our picks, we had a lot of debate about the Cowboys game, and you were talking about how they were exciting. How they were, in a way, your point was that they were still America's team because they were always had you on the edge of your seat.
That's true.
Whether they won or lost.
That's it. They're the
Controversy.
That's it.
Controversy. What happened this week, Steve?
I don't know.
On all my Cowboys.
Well, I was expecting some controversial call because it always seems like there's something going on with the Cowboys. Yeah. It always does. And that's why I personally like to watch the Dallas Cowboys because every single week it seems some crap is going down. I mean, but something did go down.
Something did go down. Fun fact, last week, Dak Prescott, in week 2, 450 passing yards, career high. Mm-hmm. This week, beat his career high again. 472 passing yards.
Well, Dak Prescott,
they'd be nowhere without him. He's got to be the MVP, I think.
He's turning into Tony Romo Part 2.
He's the most valuable player to any team, one guy, because Christian McCaffrey went down.
Right.
And, a lot of other big names went down. Michael Thomas has been injured.
Mm-hmm.
They would be absolutely lost without him.
Well, when it comes to the Cowboys, and I know there's a lot of Cowboy haters out there, I don't hate the Cowboys. I love them. And the reason I love them is because, like I said, they always have some kind of something going down. I mean, they're not my favorite team, don't get me wrong. But I love watching the Cowboys because something always goes on with them. But
what was it you called them? You called them the
TMZ.
TMZ of the NFL.
Yeah, they are the TMZ. Just like
love it.
I got two slogans for me now. Dallas is TMZ. We have Lamar Jackson is the MVC, and now we're going to talk to the MVP, and that would be Russell Wilson. 5 touchdown passes 2 weeks in a row.
That's amazing in itself.
Out of his mind.
I picked the Seahawks to win the Super Bowl this year. I actually started the season. I said Seahawks all the way, and that's because
that he didn't change.
I didn't. It really probably didn't matter in the AFC. The Seahawks will win the Super Bowl, and the reason why I say that the Seahawks will win the Super Bowl is because they have a team. And that's what I was trying to point out. These guys that are putting people together, like Tampa Bay, like Dallas getting guys, like all these people acquiring all these players versus the guys that have been together. And if you look at the Rams, who lost a heartbreaker against the Bills.
They did.
Okay,
yeah,
what did the Rams do?
Oh my
did
God,
they get a bunch of new pieces? No, they put it together the best they could. Aqib Talib retired. I mean, still they got Aaron Donald, and they've got problems. But Jared Goff, the guy who thought was a bust under Jeff Fisher, here we got new coach comes in, Sean McVay, and coaching is important. And when you got the right coach that has the right continuity with the right team and the right players, and that's why I said Deshaun Watson's got to get out of Houston, and Joe Burrow, I think, has got the right coach for him in Cincinnati. I do. But Russell Wilson definitely has the right coach in Pete Carroll because he lets him do what it takes to win the game. And he sure as hell does it. I mean, I love Russell Wilson's probably one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league.
I am just surprised that he's doing this at this stage of his career. He's been relatively quiet the last few years, and this year he's just going completely bonkers.
Where you been? This guy's been killing it for the last few years. Russell Wilson is the freaking man. He's definitely a top 5 quarterback, if not one of the best quarterbacks. Because, see, I'm not completely sold on some of these other quarterbacks in the league. I have been for quite some time sold on Russell Wilson. The only thing Russell Wilson did to break my heart is he threw that interception against the Patriots.
I'd rather have Prescott. I'd rather have Josh Allen.
You're out of your mind.
Patrick
You're
Mahomes.
out of your mind. Hear this, people. Listen to this. He would rather have Josh Allen. He would rather have Dak Prescott over Russell Wilson.
Or Mahomes or Lamar Jackson.
Okay, and Lamar Jackson over Russell Wilson. Patrick Mahomes, maybe I can understand that. Okay? The next thing you know, he's going to tell me he's taking Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson. Okay? But I won't go that far.
I don't know about that.
Okay? I'm saying Russell Wilson.
It's a vivid imagination you got.
Okay. Well, Dak
Even
Prescott.
dream that scenario.
Are you kidding me?
You're a madman.
You're insane, Jason. I love you, but you're insane. If you put and lined up NFL guys in the draft, knowing what they were, you think Russell Wilson is going third behind Dak Prescott and Josh Allen? You're out of your freaking mind.
Carson Wentz.
Carson. See?
Oh,
You
my
see?
gosh.
And this is
Oh,
why.
this is
This is
something else.
why I'm last in the picks because I've been robbed.
This is something else I want to bring up. While we're on the show, we're talking NFL. I do want to bring this up. How do the Eagles play for a tie?
Against the Bengals.
What in the hell is going on? Since when do we play for a tie? And he doesn't put the ball in the hands of his quarterback, who's making a lot of money, Carson Wentz, who's had playoff experience, Carson Wentz, who's proven in the past that he can perform. And they were close, and they don't go for the win. And how about the left guard flinching and costing them 5 yards, getting them out of field goal position? If there is one bad time to ever do that, it's when you're lining up for a game-winning 48-yard field goal or 50, whatever it was.
Are you certain that this bag doesn't say Eagle fans?
ATL Falcons.
No, I'm saying Eagle
ETL?
fans. Because the Eagle fans really kind of felt like the Falcon fans did. They could have won that game so easily.
Right.
And they just blew it. But credit Joe Burrow. The guy, that's, very rarely do you see a guy come right out of college, go on a bad team because they get drafted number one. That means the team they got drafted to usually stinks. And if you could give the Bengals any credibility, and he's lifted that team. What players did they acquire besides Joe Burrow that made you think that the Cincinnati Bengals were even going to be in contention? Now, granted, they haven't won a game yet.
I worried about them only because A.J. Green is becoming ancient. I mean,
I know.
just really,
it's sad. Our players
he's definitely fading.
He is.
They need to replace him. I mean, all respect to A.J. Green. Don't hate on me because Father Time
takes its toll. All right. But in your point with that playing for the tie, I think Herm Edwards had that classic line: "You play to win the game."
That's right.
Okay, and the Eagles did not do that.
That was shameful. If he loses his job later in the season, this is going to be a big reason why. He gave away the win. He just didn't even want to take the chance.
I'm taking Peterson over Wentz when it comes to coach versus quarterback. That's what I'm saying. I'm taking coach over quarterback. I would get rid of Wentz before I get rid of Doug Peterson. Good coaches are hard to find. He's the
one that intentionally played for the tie. That's inexcusable.
But
inexcusable. That should not happen.
I can see your
point.
You
got a rookie quarterback in one of his first couple of ever NFL starts, then maybe I can see that.
Okay. All right. Well, I get to that. We got one more game we want to talk about before we get our predictions. The Packers and Saints. What a shootout that was. I think we all took the Packers. No, you took the Saints. I took the Packers.
I took the Packers. He took the Saints.
Yeah, he took the Saints. I took the Packers in that game.
But Brees looks almost done, doesn't he?
No, I thought he looked fine. I thought
last week he didn't look so good.
I thought he looked okay. I thought he looked better than the week before.
Well,
that's right.
But that wouldn't take a whole lot. They just still don't look right to me. I'm concerned about them. They need Michael Thomas back in the worst way.
Well, I don't know. I thought they put up pretty good numbers.
Think he'll play this week, Thomas?
I don't think so. I don't think so. But I thought Drew Brees looked fine. What I want to talk about is Aaron Rodgers. Now, I picked the Vikings to win the NFC North over the Packers by like one game. It would come down to this and the other. Obviously, I'm going to be very wrong about that unless something changes. But the Packers, I'm impressed with the way Aaron Rodgers has handled himself. And the reason I say that is because we know in the offseason they drafted a quarterback. He was very upset about that. It's almost like they were saying, you're done, you're getting old, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he has not made any noise. He has not been in the press. He has not called anybody out. He loses his best receiver, and they are moving the football down the field. He's hitting all kinds of receivers out there. He's putting up numbers, putting up yards. He's leading his team, and it looks like he's having a little bit of fun. And I got to say,
isn't he in the last year of his contract?
I think he's got one more.
One more year?
I don't know. I have to look into that. But I knew that it was.
I think he's auditioning for his next venture.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
He won't be there next season.
There's a lot of teams that are going to be looking to sign Aaron Rodgers, and it wouldn't surprise me where he goes. I mean, who wouldn't want to sign that guy? Denver would get him. John Elway.
Oh my God, I was thinking that exact same
John
thing.
Elway
Denver
will do what he did with Peyton Manning and say, "Come on over here."
I could see it,
and I'll surround you with all these weapons, and we'll get this thing going. Well, anyways, I think that's all we can talk about right now. Is all we got time for in this particular segment of the show. We got our predictions coming up. Of course, the Fantasy Spotlight. And you don't want to miss that because Mr. Fantasy right here. Mr. Fantasy right here is going to tell you guys. No, because, I want to say this real fast. What you're doing with fantasy, I think, is absolutely fabulous. You're teaching and educating people out there what you call fantasy for dummies, and trying to explain and give them little tips.
There's so many shows out there for the experts,
Yeah, and so you're doing.
I don't want to talk over anybody's head. I know. Well, a lot of people, half the reason they bail from fantasy football after their first season is because they still haven't really grasped it.
Right.
Nobody's taken the time to kind of help them understand, and they kind of feel like they're out there on their own. And they don't know the players that much, and they get nervous. And after they start out 1-3, they lose interest.
I get it.
So I'm trying to keep people and get to once you start having success, once you start getting a couple wins under your belt, I want people to experience that fire.
That's great. That's great.
Click.
And that's great. And that's why you're doing that fantasy segment. And that's what's coming up right next. Jason's special fantasy segment on NFL Weekly Predictions.